my name is Taylor, and today we are going to be focusing on reading A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. I will have reading reviews up on this channel from the previous 3 books in this series, and I'm currently on the 4th one. This one is about 229 pages, and I am just absolutely flying through the ACOTAR series. I've absolutely fallen in love with the characters. You can definitely watch my previous reviews, but the last book definitely made me just sob. I've never reacted that way to a book ever. So needless to say, I'm really enjoying it. My only predictions for this book is that, seeing as it's called A Court of Frost and Starlight, I have a feeling we're probably going to be somewhere maybe in the Winter Court. That feels like it could be very true. And I also have a feeling that Feyre might be tracking down the Bryaxis in this book, that we might see some issues with re-signing a treaty, renegotiating one. Might see a lot of conflicts between human and Fae in this one. And there's just a lot of unknowns at this point, considering that Prythian had just defeated Hybern in the last book. So there's a lot that could happen in this book, and I'm super excited to read on. I'm super curious to see what's going to transpire in this book, seeing as this is the smallest one that Sarah J. Maas has written for this series. So I'm super curious, I'm super excited, and just as a warning, this book review will contain spoilers. It's also going to just contain my raw, honest reactions, pretty unfiltered. It's going to be partly vlog style as well as partly filled with updates as where I'm at in the book and my reviews. So if that's kind of your style, I hope you'll stick around. And yeah, I'm just super excited to get into this one. Okay, this is an extremely short book, so I'm probably only going to be doing updates every 25% or so unless something happens, but I'm already about 25% of the way through. I just finished chapter 5, which was another Feyre chapter. The next one is Morrigan, and so far not much has happened. They're kind of just preparing for solstice at this point, for the winter solstice. Feyre's gonna be 21, and she's been looking for gifts for all of her friends and for Rise, and they are about to go to the Court of Nightmares, I guess, as a part of the winter solstice, maybe to like wish them well, see how things are going. But that's pretty much all that's happened at this point. It's just a lot of settling back into Valaris after the war and preparing for the longest night of the year and just trying to make peace with things that have happened. So not too much has happened, but I am enjoying it. I think I'm going to absolutely fly through this, considering I've only been sat here for less than an hour and I'm already 25% of the way through. So it's going well so far. Been another hour and I'm 51% of the way through according to Fable. Again, like I said, this is going to be an incredibly fast read. I wouldn't be surprised if I finished it tomorrow or by tomorrow. But essentially at this point in the book, we're still preparing for solstice. Solstice is in 2 days, I think. And the last we read, Feyre went to the Wolf's Den, a tavern where Nesta was, and was trying to convince her to come to solstice. and it kind of ended with a lot of tension and Nesta maybe saying that if Feyre paid her rent that's due in a week, then maybe she would come. So we'll see. Not much else has happened. Essentially, the main plot point in this book is going to be Solstice and trying to get any semblance of peace back. I don't think that we might be tracking down Bryaxis in this book. I think that might be in A Court of Silver Flames, the next book. I do think, though, that we might see more almost like Civil War tensions pan out. That's kind of what Cassian's main role in this book has been, is tracking down those tensions and trying to repair them or trying to make sense of how to repair them. We also saw Rysand go to the Spring Court and talk to Tamlin, which was also just like an extremely heated place, but basically Tamlin is completely alone in his manor in the Spring Court. He has absolutely nobody there besides Lucian, who's mostly there just to show mercy, and Tamlin's needing to hunt for his dinners. He has like no wards up, so he's basically just asking for people to come in and hurt him or take whatever they want. So it's been really interesting seeing like where all of these characters are at, especially having these multiple point of views and getting to see how people are adjusting after the war. So halfway through, and I think that the main plot point of this book is just focusing on the solstice that's about to happen and trying to regain any semblance of peace or adapting to life after war. Figured it was time for one last update before I finish the book. I just finished chapter 21. This was the end of the winter solstice, page 196. The last chapter that we just focused on was Cassian trailing after Nesta, and then we had a little snapshot into Nesta's point of view, and not really much has happened between them since the last book outside of this interaction. This was the first time that Cassian has tried to reach out to Nesta. This was the first time Nesta even gave him the time of day to even be mean to him, because it's not like they were buddy-buddy. She just kept telling him to go home, and Cassian was like, can you please just try a little bit harder, not just for me, but for everybody else, at least for them, especially for Feyre, because she's trying. And Nesta's just like, basically like, F you, like you don't know anything, and like I don't owe you anything. So yeah, it's just been really tense between them still, but outside of that, everything on the winter solstice, that was just really sweet. Everything's been really funny. This book is very much more leaning toward like cozy fantasy, just this little snapshot into like them finally getting peace after everything, which I know that's not gonna last for long. I know it won't, but we're getting little glimpses of peace in this one. So it's kind of feeling more like cozy fantasy than anything else. So it's been pretty good. It's definitely not like 5 stars, but it's still like, I'm happy to follow these characters no matter where they're at, honestly, because we've obviously grown to know and to love them and to know the ins and outs of their perspectives at this point in this book now. So it's been really nice just kind of following that. So yeah, I'm gonna finish it now and then I'll give you an update when I'm finished. Finally time for my final update / review of A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. I just read the last 100 or so pages this afternoon. It was a really quick read. I think I read this pretty much in 2 sittings. I started it yesterday or 2 days ago. I honestly can't remember. This could easily be a read in 1 sitting, a read in 2 days. It's only 229 pages and it honestly just flies by really fast because the chapters are so short and you're getting a lot of varying perspectives. I think I'm gonna probably give this book around 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love all of these characters. Obviously, we've grown with them throughout at least most of them since the 2nd book, which still reigns like one of the best books I've ever read. I actually saw a YouTube short earlier today of these 2 girls stacking up their ACOTAR like rankings, what they think is the best, and Court of Mischief Fury was at the top of both of theirs, and for a good reason. It's when we find out Rhysand and Feyre are mates, and the painfully slow build up to that was just so good. Like, I'm still thinking about that. So yeah, but this one definitely didn't disappoint. In this one we got kind of a few snippets of what there might be in A Court of Silver Flames and in the next 2 books that are coming out later this year. A few of the plot points that were kind of mentioned in this is just basically rebuilding life after the war. That was the main theme of this book. I mean, we're preparing for winter solstice, but really all that's doing is building up to this point of peace. The winter solstice for a lot of courts is the longest day of the year where a lot of festivities and celebrations happen. So really it's just building up to this level of peace where people can almost take a deep breath and relax and just enjoy themselves. So I really like that this book focused on that theme, because after everything that transpired from the 3rd book primarily, but even the 2nd and the 1st book, seeing how that curse with Amarantha kind of panned out, and then trying to get to semi-normal, and then we have the war with Hybern. Having this 4th book be focused on building up peace and leaning on each other, I think that was really important. It's also really interesting because in the acknowledgments, Sarah J. Maas alludes that 2 very personal things had happened to her, both grief and joy, in her own personal life as she was writing this, and I think that just like absolutely, those emotions just really shine through this book. Her pregnancy, her dad's heart attack, like those really shine through in this book. So I really appreciate the personal connection, as well as just how oddly well it fit in with the storyline in general with ACOTAR series. So I really did appreciate that. A few plot points that I think might develop in A Court of Silver Flames is potentially Nesta and Cassian's relationship. It's still very heated between them, and just basically a lot could transpire out of their relationship, whatever that may be. I think we might also see a little bit more of Lucian. We kind of got glimpses here and there of him throughout this book, but I think in terms of like finding maybe peace between him and Farrah, between him and Rysand, and just maybe a little bit more acceptance, we might see that in the 5th book. Kind of saw at the end Rysand and Tamlin slowly building that respect again. I think there's always going to be tense between the two of them, but Rysand butchering, cooking Tamlin's elk that was on his dining table and telling him to eat was almost like this truce, this level of, I'm going to protect you because you need protecting, but at the same time, like, I don't think you're ever going to necessarily get forgiveness from either me or Farrah. I think that was really interesting. We also did get a glimpse into Mor and her estate and this darkness that was lingering in the forest. I have a theory that that could be Bryaxis. Cassian is the only one who's truly seen it, and he's seen it 2 times at this point now. So we really don't know what Bryaxis is like outside of him kind of just slaughtering a lot of people in his path in the War of Hybern, but I wouldn't say that his character was extremely described outside of this ominous looming terror in the 3rd book. So I honestly feel like it could be many things that are lingering in that darkness, and if it's something else, if it's not Bryaxis, if it's not some Civil War type thing, if it's just some other crazy entity, Sarah J. Maas, can we just give them some peace? Like, I'm so scared as to what that could be, honestly, because obviously I feel like that's definitely going to be something that pops up in the 5th book. I don't think that's just something that's going to happen and disappear by the 5th one. So, and lastly, we have Farrah giving Rysand his solstice gift, which is the gift of saying that she's ready to start trying for a child of their own. And that was really sweet. It definitely did not catch me by surprise whatsoever. I think as soon as she even began to start alluding to it, I knew it was gonna get a little bit emotional. I definitely could feel tears pricking my eyes a little bit because a lot of this book was Farrah accepting that she is allowed to be happy, that she is no longer still in poverty, fighting for her sisters, fighting for her family, that she can just truly accept Rysand's help, and everything that Rysand has given her in these past few books has just been really sweet. Him giving her this house on the riverfront where she can build anything she wants, saying, build a room for all of our friends, for your sisters, a painting studio, and then build a nursery. Like, that just really made my eyes prick with tears a little bit. So it was just really sweet. This whole book was just kind of, definitely, as I alluded in the last update, more like cozy fantasy leaning and just learning how to establish life again after a war and prepare for the next year ahead. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. It was a really, really quick read. I'm really enjoying this series, and I'm excited but nervous to get into A Court of Silver Flames, as it's the last book that's currently out, and I know I'm gonna fly through it, and then I'm not gonna have another book in the series to read until the end of October. So a little bit scared that there's gonna be such that gap in time, because I'm really gonna miss those characters, I think, especially if it ends on a cliffhanger. I have literally no semblance as to what may happen in that final book. So I'm nervous, but I'm really excited, and I hope that you enjoyed my review, my honest raw reactions to reading A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one. All right, thank you so much. Bye.